Hello and welcome to our online video devotions. My name is Alex Bradley and I'm a Unitarian minister serving a liberal Christian congregation called Brook Street Chapel in the town of Knutsford in Cheshire. Who are we? Well, most of us would call ourselves Unitarians. A few of us are Trinitarian. A few of us are doubters or seekers, and some are eclectic in our views. All of us are liberal, religious people belonging to a loving spiritual community. And we welcome you, whether you are young or old, straight or gay, employed or unemployed, or retired, from whatever background or place you may come from. We warmly welcome you. We meet in the freedom of the truth and in the spirit of Jesus to worship God and to serve our neighbour as ourselves. And I light our flame today with quotations from two sources. Firstly, from words of a hymn by Jan Struther. Daisies are our silver, buttercups our gold. This is all the treasure we can have or hold. And from the book of Proverbs. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favour rather than silver or gold. The theme of our worship today is money has legs. Money has legs. A Unitarian minister called John Andrew Storey wrote these words about wisdom. Wisdom has riches which exceed the treasured bounty of the earth. The jeweled objects of our greed can never match her priceless worth. Although the ruby glows like fire and gold is precious when refined, yet wisdom we should more desire than all the riches we have mined. For length of days is hers to give, with honour she shall crown your head, in peace she counsels us to live, and pleasant are her paths to tread. Who seeks her in the common strife, and having found her, holds her fast? To such she is a tree of life, and hers the fruits which ever last. Loving Spirit of our God, may we feel your presence within us and around us. May we feel the spirit of freedom in the precious moments of each day. May we know the power of life and enjoy the light and colours of the world around us. May we find strength from love and kindness and find comfort and consolation when we need it in the living companionship of friends and family. May we live in the light that is brighter even than the sun, the light that is eternal, the light that comes from you, O God, the eternal light of joy, wisdom, and peace. Amen. Money has legs. Our next two readings are short readings from the Bible, one reading from the Hebrew Scriptures, sometimes called the Old Testament, and the other reading from the Gospel of Matthew in the New Testament. From the book of Proverbs. Labour not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? for riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. From the Gospel of Matthew. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break in nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. It's a powerful image from nature. Riches simply vanishing into the sky on the magnificent wings of a great bird. Several years ago, when I lived in London, I went out of curiosity to a meeting for inquirers that was laid on by a Buddhist group. I found it a very interesting meeting, an example of how one particular world religion adapted itself and changed to suit different spiritual needs and cultural backgrounds. And one particular memory and benefit remains with me from that meeting. There was a glossy magazine handed out free, and one of the articles in that magazine contained these words, which I copied down and kept. The slang for money in one area of Japan is oashi, which literally means leg. This means money travels from one place to another. So money has wings or it has legs. Two interesting and unsettling metaphors. They go against phrases we often use, safe as houses, or you can bank on it, or safe as the Bank of England. Money, on the contrary, has wings or legs. The fashion sections in magazines are not my usual choice of reading, I have to say, but recently I saw a photo in a colour supplement of a pair of shoes, a very attractive pair of shoes, but what was shocking to me was the price, £1,750. I think that money literally had legs in this instance. The money was walking away in the legs shod in those shoes that had cost all that money. There is a high quality upmarket brand called Hermes, which produces men's sandals, which can cost several £100s. Hermes was the herald, the messenger of the gods in Greek mythology, who traversed the world on winged sandals. The people who spent the money on those sandals saw their money go away on the wings of Hermes. When I was a boy, I used to enjoy collecting coins. I collected a few, which, while having no particular value, gave me, as a child, a link to our history. And the beauty and solidity of those coins seemed to give off a suggestion of permanence and security, although I wouldn't have framed my feelings in those words at the time. I wouldn't have known either what the word inflation meant, but certainly I realized that a bar of chocolate might cost more to buy 1 year than it had done the year before. I recently conducted a funeral in which one memory of the deceased person expressed by the family mentioned a half-crown, and I explained to those present that half a crown was the equivalent of 12.5 pence today. Except, of course, in real terms, it's not the equivalent of half a crown at all. Half a crown, or 2 and 6pence as it was known in those long off days, could perhaps buy a glossy magazine. 12.5 pence today won't buy you anything, not even the smallest bar of chocolate. Money, thanks to inflation, fades away like the Cheshire Cat, leaving only its grin behind. Or we might say it has wings, or it has legs. This is not nostalgia, but hard-nosed fact. It's a fact that all of us in our different ways will be aware of. From young people seeking to save for a deposit on their first home, for families doing their weekly food shop, for those of us working out whether we can afford a holiday. All these things depend on money, which comes and goes. It's not just inflation, of course, which can destroy the value of money. Our purchasing power can be destroyed by many other things. We know so many people have lost their jobs during the last 12 months or so. Things that seemed essential to one's lifestyle, like regular meals out, or takeaways, or gym club membership, now become unaffordable when the salary payments on which you relied have dried up. And for people who have lost their money, either in online scams or in pension scandals, they will also know what it feels like to lose the sense of security they once enjoyed, and being unable to afford the little treats and small luxuries that were formerly within their reach. And it's a horrible feeling to know that a bill for a boiler repair or an MOT on your car might tip you over your overdraft limit. Money has indeed legs or wings. I learnt many lessons from my parents, including the lesson that one should save for a rainy day, and I still try to do so, up to a point at least. Of course, inflation means that it's probably not worth saving too much, because it'll fade away. But there's a deeper lesson in all this, namely that all material things, including money, are impermanent. They're precious, sometimes beautiful, often desirable, but they have no lasting value. The few coins I have from my childhood, won't even buy me a cup of coffee, and certainly no coin dealer would offer me anything worth having for them. I know that one day those treasures, those things will pass away. This is the teaching of all the great faiths. And it's a positive teaching. because it reminds us, as Jesus tells us, that we shouldn't lay up our treasures where they can be destroyed or stolen or taken from us, but rather to lay them up in heaven. Not heaven necessarily as understood as something beyond us in the sky, but as Jesus reminds us, the heaven that starts here and now, for as he says in another part of the Bible, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Heaven is in you. Heaven is in me when we spend time with our loved ones, with our friends, with our children and grandchildren. Heaven is when we make the lives of others better in ways great and small. Heaven is when we use money to make our lives better and to make the lives of others around us better as well. Money comes and goes. Money may visit your home. By all means, make money welcome, but do not assume that money will remain. Do not try to grasp money, for he will not remain with you. He's a fickle guest with itchy feet who loves to go from place to place. This half-crown was given me by my parents, and I value it for the association and memory of my parents, but it's not worth anything in today's terms, either to buy a cup of coffee or any coin dealer who wouldn't give me anything for it. The true treasures that I have kept are those memories from my childhood and from my life thereon. The treasures of friendship and love and companionship and laughter, the treasures of life with family and friends. There is my treasure, and there my heart is also. And that, I believe, is what all the great traditions teach. This is the teaching of Jesus. The true treasure is beyond all price, because it is quite literally priceless. May ours be the treasure that is beyond price, the treasure that cannot rust, nor be eaten by moths, nor stolen by thieves, the treasure that is eternal. And so as we come to the end of our worship, a blessing to conclude our devotions. Tomorrow belongs to our future, but the present is here in our today. Let us each begin to build a new and better world, a happy, healthy, holy one, not just tomorrow, but here in our today. And may the God who is love grant us his wisdom, his peace, and his truth. Amen.